Everything you think you know about the Moai statues, half of it is wrong. Just heads? Wrong. Facing the ocean? Also wrong. And they were never just rocks. Something was living inside them. For 3,000 years, no one ever truly looked into their eyes. By the time this video is over, you will never be able to look at a photo of Easter Island the same way again. From this moment on, you are a stonecutter on Rapa Nui. Around 1400 AD, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, the nearest landmass is 3,700 kilometers away. You were born on this island, raised on this island, and you have never once seen what lies beyond the horizon. Your father, your grandfather, every ancestor before them, they all lived here, and they all died here. And today, the elder has called for you. He said, "Your father's time has come. We must now give him a face." Your father passed away 3 months ago. He was the most respected chief this island had ever known. But on Rapa Nui, death is not the end. The real work starts now. You make your way to the Rano Raraku Quarry. A volcano standing 165 meters above sea level. 95% of all Moai on this island were carved from its tough, compressed volcanic ash. Tough is a relatively soft stone. Even without metal tools, a single basalt pick called a toki is enough to shape a human form. You stand before the rock face. Somewhere inside this stone, your father's face is waiting. Right now, it is just a boulder. But wait, here is the first twist. Most people believe the Moai are nothing but heads. That is how they look in photos after all. What you are seeing is an illusion. Centuries of erosion and sediment buildup. The Moai have bodies. The fully excavated statues stand up to 10 meters tall. What you see above ground, the head, is only 1/3 of the entire figure. And their backs are covered in intricate petroglyphs. You carve your father's body. His hands rest folded across his stomach. You shape each finger with care. On his back, you engrave the achievements of his life, written in Rongo Rongo, the script of this island. The work takes months. You are not alone. Dozens of the tribe's strongest men carve and smooth and polish alongside you. And all of this comes at a price. There was a dedicated class of sculptors, master craftsmen, who would not lift a finger without payment. Their fee? Sweet potatoes, chickens, bananas, obsidian tools. The larger the statue, the higher the cost. Here is the second twist. The Moai were an act of faith, but they were also a display of rivalry and a declaration of wealth. Bigger, more. That was the only logic that mattered on this island. If the neighboring tribe raised a 5-meter Moai, yours had to answer with 7. The heaviest Moai ever recorded weighs 86 tons, the equivalent of 1,200 adult men. The average distance from Quarry to coastal altar, 14 kilometers. No wheels, no metal, no machinery. So how did they move them? There is a twist here too. The Rapa Nui people carried down a saying through generations. The Moai walk to their places on their own. For centuries, scholars dismissed this as myth. Then, in 2025, that myth was confirmed. Through three-dimensional simulation and physical experimentation, researchers proved that Moai could actually be walked upright, rocked side to side, using just 3 ropes. The stones walked. The ancestors found their own way. Your father's Moai is finally raised onto the Ahu, the stone altar by the shore. But it is not finished yet. The eye sockets are still empty. In this state, it is still just a rock, not yet your father. The most important ritual still remains. Third twist. The Moai originally had eyes, white coral irises and pupils carved from red obsidian. Those eyes were never installed until the very final moment, because the instant they were placed, everything changed. You are holding a white coral eye in your hands right now. The moment you set it in place, your father comes back. In the Rapa Nui language, this moment is called Aringa Ora, the living face. The moment an ancestor's spirit enters the stone and watches over the village and family. Forever. Mana, the supernatural force the Rapa Nui people believed in. They believed it dwelled in the hair of their ancestors. That is why chiefs never cut their hair. They bound it up in a top knot. And that top knot was the source of all mana. The red stone hat sitting atop each Moai. The pukao, that is the top knot. You slowly press the coral eye into the socket. The obsidian pupil locks forward, staring straight ahead. The direction the Moai faces, that is the fourth twist. The statues do not look out to sea. The Moai face inward, toward the village, toward the farmland, toward the living children. Their backs are turned to the ocean. Your ancestor was never watching the sea. He was watching you. And there is one more secret in where the Moai were placed. A study published in 2019 uncovered something remarkable. The locations of the Moai altars align statistically with the island's underground freshwater seepage points. On an island isolated by 3,700 kilometers of open ocean, water was survival itself. The Moai were enormous markers pointing to where the water was. The ancestors were showing their descendants where to find water. You stand before the finished Moai. Your father's coral eyes are looking out over the village. He is here now. At its peak, nearly 1,000 Moai, just like this one, stood across Rapa Nui. The entire island was filled with ancestors. But the day came when it all fell apart. Bigger, more. As the competition between tribes intensified, the island's trees began to disappear. Logs were felled to transport Moai. Forests were cleared to build altars. The island grew barren. Food ran short. There were no trees left to build the canoes needed to fish. Famine set in. And then came war. Fifth twist. In the tribal wars that followed, the most devastating weapon was not a spear or a blade. It was toppling the enemy's Moai, severing the ancestral mana. That was the most brutal act of warfare. And when they knocked them down, they always made sure the face hit the earth first, driving the coral eyes into the ground. Burying the living face. putting out the eyes of the dead. When Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen arrived on the island in 1722, every Moai was still standing. By the end of the 19th century, not a single Moai remained upright across the entire island. Not one. The population had collapsed from a peak of 15,000 to just 111 people by 1877. All within a single century. When the ancestors fell, the people fell with them. And then there was one person left, the last survivor who could read the Rongo script and understand what the Moai truly meant. In 1877, an outsider asked him, "What are those fallen stones?" The old man was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "They are our ancestors. We are the ones who knocked them down. That is why we fell too." He closed his eyes that winter. Those were the last words he left behind. Today, the restored Moai stand facing inward again, but their eye sockets are empty. The Aringa Ora ceremony has not yet been performed. The living face has not yet returned. The descendants of Rapa Nui are still working to revive that ritual, still trying to wake their ancestors again. If it were you, would you put the eyes back in? Think back over everything we have explored today. They were never just heads. They were the bodies of ancestors. They were never gods gazing out to sea. They were fathers watching over their children. Maps pointing to where the water was. And what brought it all down was not an outside enemy. It was themselves. The reason they built the Moai and the reason they destroyed them were one and the same. Bigger, more, stronger. That desire built the ancestors, and that same desire brought them down. Easter Island may be the most honest self-portrait of human civilization, painted in the most isolated place on Earth. What are we building right now? And what are we tearing down? Drop your answer in the comments. What do you think the Moai were really trying to tell us? Next time we are going deeper. Rongo, the undeciphered script of Easter Island that no one has been able to read to this day. This has been Earth Signal. The eyes of the ancestors are watching you.